This is Land of Havilah, Psalm 35. It's 28 verses. Verse 1. By David, contend, Yahweh, with those who contend with me. Fight against those who fight against me. Take hold of shield and buckler, and stand up for my help. Brandish the spear, and block those who pursue me. Tell my soul, I am your salvation. Comment in verses 1 to 3, David's feeling the heat from his enemies and needs Yahweh to defend him. He wants Yahweh to take up shield and spear for him. Verse 4. Let those who seek after my soul be disappointed and brought to dishonor. Let those who plot my ruin be turned back and confounded. Let them be as chaff before the wind, Yahweh's angel driving them on. Let their way be dark and slippery, Yahweh's angel pursuing them. For without cause they have hidden their net in a pit for me. Without cause they have dug a pit for my soul. Let destruction come on him unawares. Let his net that he has hidden catch himself. Let him fall into that destruction. Comment verses 4 to 8 are imprecatory, meaning David wants Yahweh to curse his enemies. We find it frequently in the Psalms. But quite to the opposite, Jesus said, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you, Luke 6:28. And Paul said the same, bless those who persecute you, bless and do not curse, Romans 12:14. So why is David cursing? God says, vengeance is mine, Romans 12:19. So if someone has total insight into the will of God, as we assume David did here, and the will of God is to take revenge, then David would be justified praying that way. But for the rest of us, barring some very unusual inspiration on our part, we better forgive our enemies, bless them, and not curse them for the crucial reason that if we don't forgive others, God won't forgive us. Matthew 6:15. David's imprecatory prayers assure us that God's vengeance against our enemies is a real thing. And let's throw in the fact that as king, David was God's anointed. Even before he was king, he firmly believed there was never any justification for laying a hand on God's anointed. We know he believed that because he refused to kill Saul, 1 Samuel 24:10. God's anointed was a representative of God on earth, so to attack the king was never justified. So that throws a completely different light on things as far as David, as king and as God's anointed, being able to pray imprecatory prayers. Verse 9. My soul shall be joyful in Yahweh, it shall rejoice in his salvation. All my bones shall say, Yahweh, who is like you, who delivers the poor from him who is too strong for him. Yes, the poor and the needy from him who robs him. Unrighteous witnesses rise up. They ask me about things that I don't know about. Comment that's also translated, they accuse me of things I know nothing about. Verse 12. They reward me evil for good to the bereaving of my soul. But as for me, when they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth. I afflicted my soul with fasting. My prayer returned into my own bosom. I behaved myself as though it had been my friend or my brother. I bowed down mourning as one who mourns his mother. But in my adversity they rejoiced and gathered themselves together. The attackers gathered themselves together against me, and I didn't know it. They tore at me and didn't cease. Like the profane mockers in feasts, they gnashed their teeth at me. Comment in verses 9 and 10, David's rejoicing and praising Yahweh in advance that he will deal with his enemies, and that Yahweh's character is such that he'll deliver the weak from the strong as a matter of principle. In verses 11 to 16, David's taken aback that he treated his enemies extraordinarily well, yet they're rewarding him with extraordinary evil. If we've had an experience like that, we can relate. We know God sees and is keeping tabs on the situation. Verse 17. Lord, how long will you look on? Rescue my soul from their destruction, my precious life from the lions. I will give you thanks in the great assembly. I will praise you among many people. Don't let those who are my enemies wrongfully rejoice over me. Neither let those who hate me without a cause wink their eyes. For they don't speak peace, but they devise deceitful words against those who are quiet in the land. Yes, they opened their mouth wide against me. They said, Aha, aha, our eye has seen it. You have seen it, Yahweh. Don't keep silent, Lord. Don't be far from me. Wake up, rise up to defend me, my God. My Lord, contend for me. Vindicate me, Yahweh, my God, according to your righteousness. Don't let them gloat over me. Don't let them say in their heart, Aha, that's the way we want it. Don't let them say, We have swallowed him up. Comment in verses 17 to 25. This is going on much longer than David would like. He can't understand why Yahweh is taking so long, but he gives thanks in verse 18 that Yahweh will eventually bring it to a satisfactory conclusion. In verse 18, his enemies say, "Aha, our eyes have seen it." In other words, they claim to have caught him red-handed doing something, but it's all a vicious lie. Verse 26, "Let them be disappointed and confounded together who rejoice at my calamity. Let them be clothed with shame and dishonor who magnify themselves against me. Let them shout for joy and be glad who favor my righteous cause. Yes, let them say continually, Yahweh be magnified, who has pleasure in the prosperity of his servant. My tongue shall talk about your righteousness and about your praise all day long." Comment in verses 26 to 28, David sees the eventual outcome by faith that the wicked will be disappointed, while the righteous will praise Yahweh and shout for joy. Justice will be served. Psalm 36 is next.